every golfer dreams of reaching the next level. FlightScope Mevo Gen 2 gives you 18 data parameters with the accuracy you demand to improve your game, all measured with FlightScope's patented fusion tracking. Its 6-hour battery life gives you uninterrupted play and practice outdoors and indoors. Tee it up on the included simulation bundle. See your shots come to life with the FlightScope AR Tracer. Have fun, improve your game, shoot lower scores with no required subscriptions. Buy your FlightScope Mevo Gen 2 now at FlightScope.com.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to our webinar on the FS Golf app, all the added benefits and features you get as a FlightScope user. My name is Jordan Vogler, application specialist, and the man to my left is our senior technical support supervisor, Rich. And Rich is going to be answering your technical questions throughout the webinar, so we are excited to showcase all the benefits you get with your FlightScope, either Mevo Plus, Mevo Gen 2, or we're going to be using our X3C today. So Rich, let's get into it. First step is when you turn on whatever FlightScope device you are using, there's a couple modes of connection. One, you can scan the QR code on the back of your unit. The second way is to go into your settings and look for the serial number of your FlightScope device. If you're brand new and you just ordered a unit, it will ask you for your password key. That key is the same number as your serial number. So type that in and you'll be connected. And Rich, the third way is Streamline Wi-Fi mode. So can you just tell us a little bit about Streamline Wi-Fi and how people can benefit from it down that lens?
Sure. So Streamline Wi-Fi essentially lets you connect your launch monitor to your home Wi-Fi network. Therefore, it becomes just another device that's on there available to be connected to, and your apps, when you run them, as long as your launch monitor is turned on and your app is open, they will be able to find each other and communicate in that way. So it makes it a little bit easier. Like say if you're using an iPad and your iPad is Wi-Fi only, it will allow you to be on your home network so you can get internet access alongside a connection to your launch monitor. So it's a really cool feature.
Yeah, so basically that's the three ways you can connect to your launch monitor. And we've had questions about what type of golf balls can I use. For indoor use, you can use the Titleist RCT golf balls, and it is simply, once you open up the app, which we'll show in a little bit, select RCT golf balls, and it's literally plop and hit. That's simple. But if you want to use your golf ball of choice, every new purchase of a FlightScope device, you'll get aluminum stickers. So all you'll do is just place the dot on the golf ball, and it's very important that once you set it up that the dot is facing the screen when you hit. So those are your two methods of using golf balls with your FlightScope device. But we are connected and we have pulled up to the home screen. So we're going to start with the very bottom bar. We got your home tab, you got your profile tab. That is where you can change the handiness of the player that's hitting. And you can go and change different account settings as well, email addresses and passwords, that sort of things. Learning basics. This is great for individuals that need that little extra benefit of knowing the different FlightScope data parameters that we offer. So if you need more insights to like smash factor or ball speed or horizontal and vertical swing plane, this is where you go. You can click on data parameters, or you can go through our FlightScope Learning, which Rich was instrumental in getting that up and running, so please take advantage of that. And if you have any issues, you can directly contact our support team there. Our support team is on standby. They'll be available on phone, email, or live chat. So if you have any issues, reach out. We have a top-tier support staff that will help troubleshoot and fix the issues that you run into. And then if we go to FS Cloud, that will populate your own portal on myflightscope.com. When we open that up, you can see all your past sessions, and it will give key insights on that as well. We've received a question on, can you manually export a CSV file from the FS Golf app? Well, in the portal, once you click on view, we're just going to click on my last session. We're going to go to the bottom, and you can see right here, export table to CSV. So if you want to export this data table, send it off to a coach, or you're just a data junkie that likes to keep up with your stats from every session, that's the place to go. So as we get back into the app, Rich, did I miss anything out of those four basics? Anything else we need to add on to before we get into full swing?
No, that's great info. It's always good to have those resources there. So yeah, that's all you need.
So now we're just going to start with full swing. And once you start out, you'll see at the top of the screen, you'll see gapping session first. What is that? That is specifically for your i4 rangefinder to get those club recommendations going through that method. You'll hit from wedges all the way up to your driver. You're going to hit 3 to 5 shots to get those averages, and from there you'll get your club recommendations based on that. So the next mode, you're going to select indoor, outdoor mode. We're in limited flight for indoor mode. You can see from the very bottom, when you set up your radar, the radar tilt and roll is very important. Indoors it's easy, but you'll be able to see outdoors using the other devices. Make sure it's in that proper roll and tilt. You got target alignment. When we click on this screen, you're going to see the radar has a camera in it, and you will properly be able to see the unit being showcased at the very back of the unit, what we see here. And we can see that this hitting area is perfectly in line with the middle of the screen, and you can calibrate it from that area as well. And you can go next to sea level or condition based. We're just going to select sea level, and then at the very bottom you have the option for clubs and golf balls. Within the FS Golf app, we'll have generic clubs for wild wedge all the way up to driver. But if you are one that is a club tinkerer like myself who adds clubs in multiple brands all the time, you can keep up with individual stats on your clubs and golf balls as well. If you're doing any golf ball testing outdoors between different brands, that's the place to manually add said golf clubs and golf balls. So we're going to start a new session. So we're on the home screen. You can see that you can customize the data order at the very bottom. If you're on an iPad view, it's very neat that if you want to see on the right hand side of the screen, I got angle of attack, face impact, smash, spin, and club speed. By one click, I can manually take array and remove said data parameter, and I could go down to this data table and click it one time and it will appear. So you can customize what you want to see. And on the left side of the screen, we got the different views. We're down the line. We got the perspective view, we got the side view, and you can get a different look when you click on the top right of the screen for the different view on side. And we got a top view. And I'm going to hit some shots as we go through this grouping, because this is personally one of my favorite features that I like to go through multiple times, especially if you're one that either just got new clubs, just got fitted, or you just want to see trends in your game. Grouping is a great feature to go through because it will show you your distance gaps and your standard lateral and deviation for each club. So Rich, I'm going to hit a few shots with my 9-iron and 7-iron, and we're going to see what the distance gaps look like, and that way people can get a view on how they can use this as well. So in the meantime, maybe we can talk about some of your data parameters we want to cover, or some more setup basics and tips that you have seen over the years that will help people down that lens.
Sure. Yeah, so just like what Jordan said about starting a new session or getting new clubs out there, anytime you're coming in with something new or you want to get more information about your game, it's always important to focus on certain parameters that you prefer based on what you want out of your game. You, just like Jordan said, you can customize those on the right side of the screen. You might see at the bottom of the screen, it'll say data order. On data order, will let you arrange those data parameters across the bottom in any way that you want to. And yeah, like he said, it's always very important to kind of understand what you want out of the application, because there is so much information. There's so many data parameters. A lot of them, you may or may not fully understand them. If you have questions about that, the FlightScope Learning Platform from earlier is a great way to learn more about that. It's totally free. The other important thing that I always talk about for getting consistency out of your data is consistency in your setup. The setup screen that we went through earlier, every single one of those points, I always recommend that people go through them every time you set up. Mm-hmm. You might have, a marked place on your floor for your launch monitor, a marked place on your floor for the golf ball, but you always want to make sure that your sensor to tee distance, tee surface height, alignment, all of those things are extremely important for consistency in data, because if your alignment is just slightly off left or right, that can throw off parameters mm-hmm. like club path, face to path, the plane angles, things like that. The stuff that's really very, very detail oriented in the data, because the more accurate you are with your setup, the more accurate you are with the data you get out of it.
Exactly. So I just hit 3 shots each with my 9-iron and 7-iron, and we could see that you get a grouping and you could do all clubs. Again, this is a great feature for anybody that wants to go throughout the entirety of their bag to see their dispersion and to see if there's any gaps in your bag. On a personal note, I went through this not too long ago, and I noticed I had a pretty big gap between my 6-iron and my bladed set versus the hollow body in the 5. It was like a 15, 20-yard gap. So what I ended up doing is, because I went through this grouping session, ended up adding another 6-iron to fit that gap. So again, your average golfer really doesn't know how far they carry the golf ball.
Yeah.
So I recommend everybody to go through the grouping session to know your carry distances, to see your shot trends, and this will make you a better golfer. So a great feature for people to use. So we're just going to go back to a down the line view. And let's go into, so at the top of the screen, we got my name, and we've had a lot of questions about for coaches and so on and so forth. If you want to have multiple profiles for your students, for your players, this is where you go. You can manually go up at the top and go to add player, and you can type their name and have all their information from all your students available. That way you're not mixing data sets between one profile. Each person will have their own unique profile that they can keep up with their stats. So that's where you go for this feature. Let's go into 7-iron. So this is where you will go in and again, within the FS Golf app, you have the generic lob wedge through driver. This is where you can manually go in and add your own unique golf clubs that are in your golf bag, and you can add golf balls in there as well. But one cool feature is now you can change the tracer color. So you just go to edit, and I was last using my 7-iron. You click on next, and you can choose from any of the colors on this palette. I'm going to choose the very pretty Tar Heel blue color, and we can see that it changes on the screen, so you don't have to go in and hit shots to, change those colors. You can change it from right then and there. Next, we're going to go to the settings. Well, let's go to the RCT golf balls. Here's where you will select which golf ball that you're using. Again, for indoor use, if you're using RCT golf balls, click on RCT, and it's simply plop and hit. That simple. For any other golf ball that you use, just click on standard. Again, you get a pack of the aluminum stickers that come with each new purchase. Place the sticker on the golf ball and make sure that sticker is facing the screen when you hit. Pretty simple. Now let's go into settings. Here's where we can go into the nitty-gritty stuff again. Again, you got your player profile here. You can go in and change that information. The radar settings, you can go in and see the battery percentage. You can see the radar alignment, wake mode, sleep timeout, the battery details. Again, you can go through another target alignment and set up verification here. Players, again, what we showed in that earlier screen is this is where all the player profiles are located, so you can select which player is hitting and they can keep up with their stats. Again, the equipment, you can change the golf balls and clubs on this screen as well. And we can go into the environment. You can change the surface type between soft, medium, and hard, and you can change the environmental conditions between sea level and condition based. Video recording, this is where you can change the post-trigger and pre-trigger duration of your videos, and we're going to touch more on that in a little bit, especially when we talk about the AR tracer, so stay tuned for that. Video sharing, this is where you can select the data parameters that you want to showcase on your video, and you can choose up to 6. So you choose which data parameters that you want to showcase here, and you can display those data parameters either on the left side, the right side, the bottom of the screen, or top of the screen, depending on if it's a horizontal video or vertical video. Great way to share your videos on social media too. As we go into the measurement details, you can change between imperial and metric measurements here. And the next one is Apple Watch. We are Apple Watch compatible. Great way to see the data straight from your Apple Watch. And we're going to have a lot more advancements coming to the Apple Watch coming soon, so we're excited for that. But yes, you can use and view your FlightScope data on your watch. So give it a try if you are an Apple Watch user. Trajectory displays, you can change it from the left or the right, depending on which view you like better. And data margins, I'm actually going to set up a data margin here because this is one of my personal favorite features. Data margins gives you that immediate feedback on what data parameter or what you're specifically working on your swing. For instance, I spend a lot of my time working on my short game. So I'm very keen on getting my carry data parameters if I'm working on my short distances between a certain parameter, like if I'm working on 30 to 40 yards. So for instance, I clicked save here. We're going to go back to the full swing, and let me go back to wedge. And from here, I'm going to pull up carry, and I'm going to hit one shot with the lob wedge. Again, this is a great feature to get you that immediate feedback on what you are specifically working on in your game. So right there, I was 25.2, a little bit short of that data margin. But again, you can go on here and you can actually change which parameters that you want to see. Again, if I wanted to change it between 40 to 50, I'm going to go up to 40 yards to my maximum of 50 yards. Save, go back here, and we can see now I'm at 25 for the last one. Let's see if I can get one in between that 40 to 50 yard mark. So just a little bit short, but again, you get that immediate feedback. If it's red, you didn't achieve your goal. If it's green, you achieved your goal. So next time you are practicing, use data margins. Great way to track your performance. And we're going to click on the 4-corner button next. Again, we got the trajectory view, what we're seeing here. You can go to the dashboard view, and this is a great way to view all the data parameters that you want to see, or you can get very customizable with what you want to see. You can go to data order at the very bottom. You can hide all data parameters, and let's just say I want to see angle of attack. So you can really customize how many or how few data parameters that you want to focus on within the FS Golf app. We're going to unhide all and see it's all back to being there. We're going to go to data table. This is where you can get key insights to a detailed list of all the shots you hit, or you can go into summary and get a really nice summary of all the shots you hit and get those averages to really see trends in your game. Next, we're going to go to video. This is where you set up your video and the multicam app. So what we're going to do if you want to see multicam, the one thing that you're going to do is go to the iOS store and download FS Multicam. And on your other device, you're going to go to the video app, scan that QR code within the app to set up multicam, and you can set up that multicam that way. And we're going to get into the AR tracer here shortly. But we have this view for 2D and 3D for club measurements that you hit on your various shots. So you got your top view, you get to see your angle of attack, your V plane, and we got the D plane data if you want to get to really insights on those specific data parameters that you want to see. And we're going to go to 2D. There's our 2D views from face to target, face to path, dynamic loft and spin axis, and we got face impact location. So that last wedge was a little off the toe, but personally that's what I'm working on. My game is to get that shot more toward the toe because I'm predominantly a hill bias strike. So I really like seeing that, but you can go in and see your heat mapping on your averages of where you hit it after you hit 3 shots with each club. So again, face impact location, no need for stickers, no need for spray, no need for really any special equipment. You just add on face impact location and you'll be able to see instant strikes on your club face and really see trends in your game. It's a great feature to have. I recommend everybody using that feature. The charts, this is more for our club fitters, for shaft and lie and loft, checking, where you want to see if you're using the proper shaft in your irons, your wedges, and woods, and that changes all throughout your bag. So for our club fitters, this is a very good feature to see trends and to see how tight those dispersions are between the clubs of your students that you are using, and that way you can see maybe your student's in a shaft issue. We can swap between shafts and track that performance as well. You got your speed profile and you got your acceleration profile. So finally, the next is Trajectory Optimizer. This will give you insights to see how far your data parameters should be to hit the longest per each shot. So if you want to see for 7-iron distance, you could see optimal range was 1.37 for smash. My launch vertical was 18.2, and my spin was a little bit on the high side. So if I got that down to about 5,800, I'd get the most distance out of my said shot. So that's a great way to see if your clubs are in their optimal trajectory to get the most distance possible. And finally, we got the AR tracer. Again, to set up the AR tracer, all you have to do on Full Swing is to click on the 4 button icon and select AR tracer. And we got a quick 1-minute video that will show you how you can set up the AR tracer on one singular device and get those as seen on TV shot tracers straight from your iPhone or iPad. I'm going to show you how you set up the AR tracer using one device with your FlightScope Mevo Gen 2. First, open up a Full Swing session. Then at the top of the screen, click on the 4 button icon at the top. Then at the very bottom right, you'll see Tracer. The next thing you're going to do is follow the on-screen steps. You're going to scan the hitting area in front of the unit. Once scanned, click Next. Next, you're going to position the Ghost golf ball over the real golf ball. You're going to click Confirm. And then you're going to position the Ghost unit over the real unit. Click Confirm. Next. And now you're ready to get your as seen on TV shot tracer. So let's hit one and see what it looks like. All right, so the shot is hit, and we can see that we have a nice shot tracer overlay, and you'll notice that this tracer is AR, so you can move around this tracer and see it from a side view, a front view, or a back view.
They know we're
reading
there what they're saying.
And there you have it. Quick way to set up the AR tracer. Again, we want to see those as seen on TV tracers. So share with us on social media. Again, you can go from wedge all the way up to driver. You can change the color, and it's an AR tracer, so you can move around and see it in real time. So share with us on social media. We'd love to see it. Couple quick things before we move on from the Full Swing session is the EO. Personally, I think the EO is one of the coolest features that we do offer, especially for those who are traveling in tournament play or you're going on a golf trip. This is a great way to simulate the distances that you would expect to be seeing in said location. So we're in Florida now. For instance, if we were going to go play golf in Colorado, there's no need to be worrying about what our distances would be. We can simulate it straight from here and to see those distance changes in real time. So use the EO, especially if you're a competitive player. That way you could do all your prep work before you even get out to the course. One last thing, we're going to click on this hamburger menu at the top left of the screen, and we're going to talk through the different surface types real quick. So again, you can change from soft, medium, and hard from this screen. I know there was a couple questions about the surface type. Rich, what can individuals get out of the different surface type options through the FS Golf app?
Yeah, so the one thing I can say about every mode, not just Full Swing, but every single mode in this app is that it is obviously very data driven. Mm-hmm. So, and data is, it's really only what you put into it is what you get out of it. So everything from club selection to the proper ball type to what players are in the session, all of those things will help everybody using the app. If it's just you or if you're a coach and you have players, it will help everybody get every single thing that they need out of it. And one of the things that a lot of people don't know a ton about is surface type. You can change it right here. It changes it for the whole session. And it's just about the surface, it's to simulate the surface that the ball is landing on. Soft, you get, if you're playing on soft fairways like we have here in Florida, especially after it rains, you're not going to get a ton of rollout. Medium, it's, that comfortable median if you don't really have a specific preference. And hard, you'll get the most rollout. And with all launch monitors, even full flight trackers like the X3C, rollout is always calculated. And that's for every launch monitor out there. And it can help you, and it's based almost entirely on the descent angle of the ball and the speed and the spin. So it's a great, helpful tool. And like I said, selecting the equipment and settings that match your environment are going to help you get the most out of it, especially with when you go through setup and doing all that properly. Yeah,
exactly. And the last step we'll touch on is the data parameters. So we're currently in dark mode. You can change between light and dark mode from this hamburger menu here. So Rich, that is all about Full Swing. Is there any certain data parameter that we didn't cover, or is there anything that from your experience, from people sending you support-related questions that people can get out of Full Swing?
Just the same thing of what I said before is the information you give the app gives you the most accurate data coming out of it. So a lot of times we'll get calls about, hey, you know, I had a session, it was me and my son, and we both wanted to look at our data, but we never switched the player. That's, you can't go back and change that, you know, so it's always important to put that in ahead of time. Make sure the proper club is always selected. Make sure you have your data arranged in the way that you want to see it, because when you're out there, when you're out on the driving range or you're in your simulator area, you want some instant feedback, but you also want to be able to go back and easily access everything. And one of the coolest things about having all the ability to put add a player in there is that you need to use their name and a real email address for them, because it will create for them a free MyFlightScope account, the FlightScope Cloud, and they will be able to go and see their own sessions hit on your launch monitor. Mm-hmm. So, you know, you have, as long as you have the proper player selected and the proper club selected and your setup was good, every single thing you see in there is useful to you to the extent that you want to use it, because, you know, it's about what you put in, and you can always make the decision on what you want to get out of it. And like I said, that goes for every hitting mode, not just Full Swing. So
awesome.
Good stuff.
So now we're going to get into chipping, and what I really love about the FS Golf app is there are features in here for virtually every part of your game that you can work on. Short game's the biggest thing. Every amateur golfer can improve their game by working on their short game. I know we all want to hit the long ball. I know that's the trend in golf today, is hit the driver as far as you can. But we know from stats that the average golfer loses the most strokes around from on the greens to their short game. So really just spend time, especially this winter and fall upcoming, on your short game, because you'll see big improvements when you get back out on the course. Chipping, so you can do limited flight outdoor mode, so we can start a new session. And then as we get into the session, again, you'll see the side view. You'll be able to change the color of said side view. And again, you can choose between wild wedge, sand wedge, gap wedge, and you can get those nice groupings like we showed you on Full Swing. Again, take advantage of chipping, work on it. You will see dramatic improvements in your game when you work on your short game. Next, we're going to go into putting. Again, same setup basics. You can change between the different views on the top right of the screen, and the data parameters that you get with putting is roll, total, skid, launch speed, roll speed, club speed, ball direction, shot deceleration, smash, and ball direction. And we get a lot of questions about what is the proper setup for indoors when it comes to putting. One of the biggest key areas is, if you're using RCT golf balls, don't use RCT golf balls with putting. Use a normal golf ball, and you can kind of see the proper setup we have here is we want a long extended mat that the golf ball can accurately track on. If you got any humps or dips or valleys in it, you're going to have some issues indoors with putting. So a long extended surface that the golf ball can track, and we'll need to change the unit placement at times. So Rich, can you speak to more on the proper unit placement for indoors when it comes to putting?
Yeah, so when you set up putting, what I always tell everybody to do is go through every single step of the setup every time you run a session, just because you know, little things can change, and it's always good to know exactly how everything is placed and that it's placed properly. Now with putting, the big deal is that the unit needs to get a speed and direction for the ball. There's a whole lot of other stuff in there that matters, like you can change stimp. Stimp can vary if you're playing sim golf, based on the sim golf software you're using. The stimps for certain greens, the slope and break on those greens all affect what the result is in the software. But the thing that is important for your launch monitor is that you have it aligned properly, so you're putting straight away from the unit, and that you are putting on a flat surface, because as long as it can get a good consistent speed and direction for the ball, then it will give you a good result. That's extremely important, like what Jordan mentioned about bumps, drops. If you have, like, say if you have a 4x5 mat or something like that, you need at minimum 6 feet. Ideally you want more than that. You know, we always suggest give yourself as much flat, smooth space to putt on as possible, because at any point the unit can extract that information, and the cleaner and more consistent, the cleaner and more consistent your putting surface is, the faster you get that information, and the most accurate it can be when it gets applied to the actual shot that you see. And you know, it's of course, like in our app, it is very data oriented. So whenever you do a putting session, you will definitely want to make sure your setup is correct and the distances are measured out properly.
Yeah, and again, you can use this both indoors and outdoors for putting. So take it out on the greens and see your own session history with putting. Again, you can set it up for long distance putts and inside of those 10-foot distances. So really just work on that both indoors and outdoors. The next area we're going to go to is challenges. So we got challenges built into the FS Golf app. PGA Challenge, it's also our LPGA Challenge. You can go through all your clubs between wedges and drivers and see how you compare to those LPGA and PGA Tour averages. Again, for most golfers like myself, it's cool to see what the pros do on the PGA Tour, but I can't get those ball speeds or club speeds or those distances that the pros do. So for the average male golfer, it's really cool to go in there and see how you compare against the LPGA Tour players, because that's what you're going to relate to the most. So go in there and just see how your game stacks up against the world's best players. Next is a range competition. You could do this you could challenge yourself or you can challenge another player, and it's whoever gets to the 0-point target at the very end wins. So again, this is all about bragging rights. Compete against your friends and let's see who wins. And again, everybody wants to have a long drive competition. Again, bragging rights, who hits it the furthest. So compete against your buddies and see who hits the longest. So that's the challenges within the FS Golf app. The next area we're going to look at is swing training. Again, like I talked about earlier, the craze is everybody wants to hit the golf ball as far as you can, especially nowadays. So we have a feature built within the FS Golf app for you to track your performance. You could do this with or without a golf ball. You can use a real club, or we're integrated with the speed system and stack system, so you can use and track your performance across a variety of different options and clubs or radar bases as well. And you could also use features like, if you haven't seen our recent video with our founder and CEO Henry, you could use a rope to track those performances as well, which I didn't realize. So again, if you're wanting to see increased swing speed and track your performance, now as we get into the fall winter seasons, this is where you can really hone in and track those values throughout the winter time and see how fast you can get as we get back into more spring golf and summer golf next year. In the final section we're going to look at before I turn it over to Rich is review session. Again, what's cool about the FS Golf app is you can go in and review all your previous sessions within the FS Golf app. So you can go back for many, many months and see some recent sessions. So I'm just going to click on what I did yesterday, for example. So I go in here and I can see all the different shots and types I've hit and go in and get detailed accounts, summary accounts. So it's a great way to see performance and how well you have improved your game from months ago to now. So again, all your review session history is logged in there. Finally, let's touch on Planning Tool, Rich. Planning Tool, again, I think it really uses our environmental optimizer feature as well. Again, I would say for any active person that is in competition play, whether you're a college player, a high school player, a middle school player, aspiring professional or a professional, everybody and really anybody can benefit from this feature, especially if you're going on a upcoming trip. You could simulate what those distances would be at various points up to 48 hours in advance. So if you know your tee time's roughly 12 o'clock the next day, you can set your tee time from 12 all the way to 4 at whatever location and course in the world and see how your distances would be in a tailwind, downwind, no wind, and it's a really great way to prep before you even get out to the course. I know me personally playing college golf, there was always that uneasiness going to a new location, a new area that I've never been before, and getting that prep done in a very short amount of time. Really, it's 3-4 hours, you're getting that prep in. Where here, you got all the prep done in no time, and you could take that and print it off and carry it with you out on the course. You can use it, you can look at it. Again, another great way to see those distances before you even get out on the course.
Yeah, it's definitely another big use of how data-driven the FlightScope apps are, because the fact that you can we've expanded, the planning tool is a big way we've expanded how we use the EO technology, and that's also goes with the rangefinder as well.
Yes.
Because when you do your gapping session, as long as you have all of your settings and everything for your proper location, it gives you a ton of extra information. And yeah, it's again another one of those things where it's another feature that uses all that data, and if you use it, you can get more out of it.
Yeah, and that's what we're all about at FlightScope, is giving every type of golfer all the tools available to help improve your game. Again, you don't have to be a tour level professional to use a FlightScope device. You could be a beginner golfer. You could be your average male or female golfer. This day and age in golf, data is so necessary if you want to see improvements, and we have all the data available that you can use to see those improvements in your game. So you don't have to be a professional. Any type of golfer can benefit from using a FlightScope device. So Rich, I think before we get into the questions, is there anything we need to cover in the FS Golf app that we missed? Again, best setup practices, or things that you have seen over the years where we get a lot of customer questions about.
I really don't think we missed anything. It's just everything can be talked about even more. There's when you went through the special club analysis that you can get access to with an X3C or the Pro package on the Mevo Plus. Having those 3D models are invaluable once you really understand how to interpret the data. A lot of people I talk to don't really look at or use the charts because they're not easy to understand. But the speed and acceleration profiles are a very, very widely used tool from when I speak to club fitters and coaches. If you're thinking about changing clubs, changing a shaft, really understanding what those charts mean and what they can do for you, it's a lot of times it's good to talk to a golf professional about it if you're an amateur, or if you're just a hobbyist like myself. But it's invaluable, and it's all about how much you use all of the different data parameters, because we can go into it all day and talk about swing planes, like what you saw with the swing training feature. The swing training feature, like every other part in the application, is entirely dependent on your setup. So if you are not physically aligned with the unit like you would be with a ball, then your data is not going to be just right. It's going to think you're lined up properly, but your swing planes might look a little off. So the one thing I always stress the most is pay attention to your setup, and you will always get the most out of it.
Yes, and another point that I like to stress is you can really customize the data to the type of golfer that you are. It's very interesting when we on staff with us, we have Allison Corpos and Megan Kang. Just speaking with them, they grew up at the same area. They played golf growing up from the junior ranks, now in the LPGA Tour ranks, and just speaking with them on the different ways that they look at data. Megan's a very feel player. She said, all I want to see is basically just carry, spin, and watch. And you can customize it just to see that, whereas Allison is I want to see all the data.
Yeah.
So again, you can get as in-depth or as limited to the data that you want to see. That way you don't have to get overwhelmed. But that's the cool thing about FlightScope. You can customize it to you. So let's get into some questions, Rich. I think we have about 7 questions that we have that people have submitted.
Yeah, some questions that were sent to us from users from a survey. But so we'll just go through them one at a time, and Jordan and I will talk about them. So first question, which type of device offers the best experience from the app? I use it on mobile platform, mobile at the moment, but considering a larger device. So what device offers the best experience? It seems like they're referring to whether you're using a mobile phone, like Android or iOS phone, Android or iOS tablet, or a PC. It's all about your environment, pretty much. It's all about where and how you want to use it. If you want to upgrade to a bigger screen, I believe this is an iPad Pro. The FS Golf app runs great on this. It's got a really nice big screen. You have the option to look at all the views almost in the same output that we see on the screen here, just on an iPad. It does make things easier to see. You will see more data parameters on the screen. And if you want to go even further, if you're setting up your indoor, for indoor setups, most people love having a PC. If you've got a computer that meets or exceeds the specifications required for the FS Golf app, for the FS Golf PC application, then it gives you the most options. I would like to show more. I'm sure we can do that in a future webinar about the PC software, but the ability to pop out your windows, see things on multiple screens, have things done in many different ways. There's a lot more options, and because it's on a PC, you get a few more options as far as customizability goes. But with an iPad, if you want to stick to the mobile platform, you can always use the Apple has an AV adapter for the Lightning connector or the USB-C connector iPad, so you can plug an HDMI cable right into this and plug it into your TV or projector. So you can have a great indoor experience and also keep that same device for a good outdoor experience if you want a larger screen. So a great middle of the road option for everybody is always the iPad. Most of our users are iOS. You know, in the world, there's a lot more Android devices out there, but when it comes to golfers, for some reason, we like iPads. But that's just kind of how it works. But it's all about your preference. Having a nice small mobile phone is always great if you want to just go to the range. Having less stuff to mess with is always easier, especially if you're warming up before a round or something like that. But if you're looking for a bigger device, the iPad, we run on all, our app runs on all late model iPads and Android tablets that run the current operating system. So
yeah,
you got a lot of options.
One quick tip for outdoors. I know I primarily use the FlightScope Mevo Plus X3C Mevo Gen 2 outdoors. Just be aware, don't leave it out in the sun too long. If you're using an iPad or an iPhone, it will overheat pretty quickly. So just be aware of that, put it in some shade. That way you don't have to worry about devices overheating, and you can get more enjoyment outdoors looking at your data and improving your game.
Yeah, especially here in Florida. If you're in the sun, yeah, you can overheat your iPad in February here. No, there's no joke about that. But yeah, so next question. Must the FS Golf app be set up on an iOS device and then set up on a PC, or can you just set it up directly on the PC? All of our applications have full capability for setting up the device for first-time use on anything. So yeah, you can set it up on your iPhone, you can set it up and register it and do everything you need to do on a PC. There might be some special considerations because all of our devices that we're talking about today require a Wi-Fi connection. If you have a PC or a laptop that can only connect to Wi-Fi to get an internet connection, your registration does require an internet connection. If you have trouble with that, always call our support team. We're happy to help. But the app does give you specific instructions. So what I always tell everyone is read the whole screen. It's telling you how to do it, or at least it's trying to. Yeah. So yeah, you can set it up on a PC from day one and only ever use it on a PC. You never have to plug it into a mobile phone. If you've got a really nice in-home setup, you can have your Golf Sim and your FlightScope application all on your PC and never connected to a mobile device.
Yep, and you can download the FS Golf app from the Google Play Store, iOS Store, and through our website to download the PC version. Yep,
that's right. All right, and so when will the Tracer feature be available on Android? We get that question a lot. The way that the Tracer feature works currently on iOS is through the kit that Apple builds into the phone. You can, if you've ever used the Measure feature on your phone for iOS, that's an augmented reality or AR feature that's built right into the phone, and it's a tool that app developers can use. So it was something that, as I said before, we have a whole lot of iOS users, and that was something that we were able to easily develop for. Now with Android, we do really, really want to bring that to all of our customers because all of our users, we want the same experience on every device eventually. It's proven more difficult to get a good, consistent result out of Android. Our developers are working on it, but I couldn't tell you when it's going to come out. And number 4, how do I show a replay of my swing? Not the results of the shot, but my actual swing. So you can show a replay of your swing through the video feature. We talked about that quite a bit. You can use the AR Tracer, or you can just use the basic video feature. The video feature itself has a lot of options, whether you're on PC or iOS or Android. The Multicam app is available for mobile platform. Your host device, whether it's an iPad, Android tablet, whatever, you can connect to multicam devices on any platform. You can, on PC, you can use a USB camera or two. You can record that swing from multiple angles, and as long as you are in video mode, it will record and save that video on your device. So you have to be in video mode. If you have all those cameras plugged in, but you're looking at the down the line tracer on full swing, it won't record a video. You have to be in video mode. But all of those screens are available for every shot. So if you're in video mode and you're recording your swing because that's what you want to work on for that particular session, which is I cannot stress enough how useful that tool is for new indoor users. It will show you what you're doing in your indoor environment, and I recommend it to everybody that can use it.
And if you, let's say for instance, you recorded some AR tracers a couple days ago and you want to go back and review those or download those and save those to your device, you can go into review session and go back to where you recorded those videos, go into the video feature, and you can download those videos from there. So it's all stored in the FS Golf app.
Yeah, one of the reasons why you have to grant the video permissions in the app is because the videos get saved to your device. Those can get to be a lot, and the way that the app has to work is that it has to be linked and it has to use that particular feature. So yeah, if you do, I know we've had people ask if you want to remove a shot and you've recorded like 50 shots and they all have a video. That's now 50, 2 to 5 second videos that you have on your device now, depending on what you set for your pre and post trigger. And it can fill up, especially if you're using the slow-mo feature. Those videos are very hefty as far as data storage goes, and you do have to go into your iOS photos or the photos stored on your Android device to remove those. Same thing with PC. If you remove it in the application, it doesn't always remove it in your storage. So, but yeah, that's just some things that we come across every once in a while. So what question are we on now? That was 5. Oh, that was 5, right? So how do top instructors recommend structuring a training session using FS Golf, especially for swing pattern recognition and shot dispersion analysis? Now, I know Jordan talks to a lot more of those pros than I do.
So, one thing that we like to say here, especially from our founder and CEO, Henry, is really we want to understand our customer, what is your FlightScope DNA? I know we're talking about the FS Golf app, but I think a really good place to start is FS Skills app to go through the combine from all your clubs to see your shot dispersion and your tendencies. And once you know your strengths and your weaknesses, then you can go to the FS Golf app, because again, we have features within the FS Golf app for full swing, chipping, putting, to various speed training and challenges tailored to help make those weaknesses and turn them into strengths. We work with Grant Waite, and I speak with Grant a lot, and the biggest thing is people don't know how far they hit it. We think a lot of golfers have a general idea of how they hit it, or they hit that one shot that went 180 with their 7-iron, and they think that's what I hit it on a 7-iron every single time.
That's a selective memory right
yes.
there.
Just go in, and like I said, I recommend everybody going through a grouping session to see what your average carry distances are for every club, and you get those standard deviations, and you can see your tendencies. As all your shots are going to the right and you have pro package data, you can see, well, what's my club face doing at impact? Where's my path? Where's my face to target? And you can get those key insights to see, okay, this is the changes I need to make. And we got the data, immediate feedback that you get with FlightScope that you can help allow you to make those changes. Again, I recommend FS Skills app, and going into the FS Golf app, go through grouping, work on your carry distances, know your carry distances, and then if you're making swing changes, having the pro package data is viable. A lot of times, and I've spoken with Grant Waite about this, we as golfers struggle with that feel versus real. I know when I was in college playing golf, I would always say, I feel like I'm swinging it to the right. But then you get on video or you see data and wow, you're actually swinging left. Mm-hmm. So this eliminates the guessing. This eliminates that feel versus real. It is data driven. Like you will get immediate feedback to see whether you are doing what you think you are doing or not. So that's my recommendation.
Yeah, I mean, we can't stress that up enough, because as long as you're aligned with the unit, it's going to give you the most accurate information and the most usable information.
Correct.
Yeah, so. And so what is that, number 6 now?
Yep.
All right, so I'm getting a lot of missed putting. Is there an ideal way to set up putting without having to change my full swing setup? So we get this question a lot, especially about golf simulation, because you want to be able to, to hit all your standard shots, and you want to be able to hit your putts from about the same area. And the tricky part about that is that, like we talked about with putting and how it's important to have a flat, smooth surface, and a good setup is always important. So one trick that we always use is regardless of the launch monitor you're using, you can set your alignment point directly between those two positions, but you can't set, you can't have one 12 inches this way and the other, a foot the other way. They need to be within a close area like we have here.
Yep.
We have it set up so that we can hit our standard shots on the hitting insert that's put here, and then we have our putting mat here, this well putt mat that makes it that even smooths the surface out a little bit more. And again, what you put into it, we know the stem for the well put mat, so we can understand how the speed of this can be affected by what is then translated to GS Pro or E6 Connect or whatever golf simulation software you're using. So an ideal setup for putting, that's always a tricky situation because it always depends on your environment. Do you have both left-handed and right-handed hitters that you want to play with in golf simulation? You have to find the right balance. Some all indoor environments, we use a radar launch monitor, and one of the things that our support team deals with on a daily basis is concerns for interference. The radar needs to be able to see the ball, the camera needs to be able to see the ball, so having the proper lighting conditions and the proper environment will help with putts. The ball is moving slower when it's being put, so the radar has to be a lot more sensitive. It's in its most sensitive detection mode when it's in putting mode. So, that's when the signal interference can be the biggest deal. So if you've got things like that you might see in the startup guide, like fluorescent lights or electronics, like say you've got your, if your PC that's running your simulation software is a really nice, huge, awesome gaming PC, there's internal fans in there. There are signals coming out of that. There's motion, there's vibration. All of those things can matter because of how sensitive it is when you're putting. So call support. We'll help you get straightened out. We might ask for pictures. We'll ask a lot of questions, and we'll work with you for a long time if we have to get it right. Because having a flat, smooth surface and being able to putt directly away from the launch monitor, those are the two most important things. But there are other factors to consider, especially if you're having some weird things happen.
Yeah, we could touch on environment when it comes to full swing too. I know a lot of people will try to have flight scope in various environments. From they are, fortunate enough to have a ton of length. Some people will put it in a shorter space. Just be aware of the area on the outsides as well. We don't want it too cluttered with a lot of stuff that will cause interference with the radar. So just be aware of that. Try to get the space as pristine as possible while you're hitting. And again, if you run into any issues, our support team is top tier. Again, though, you can call via phone, live chat, or email, and we'll have a support representative ready on standby to help troubleshoot your issue. No matter how long it takes. We're here to help get you up and running and help fix your issues. So don't hesitate, reach out.
Yeah, just about anything you call about, we'll always talk about setup and environment every single time, because those are the things that, number one, for you to get the most accurate data, you've got to be comfortable.
Correct.
And understanding how comfortable you are, I always point people to the video application. But when you're setting up for something like putting, especially in golf simulation, sometimes it takes time to understand exactly what you need out of your environment to get the most consistent results. And
and we talk about this all the time, especially if you are brand new to a launch monitor, especially indoors. There is a real thing called indoor swing syndrome if you are brand new. Especially if you are in a tighter space and there is either clutter or a wall that's pretty close to you. You're going to be changing your swing indoors versus outdoors, and those distances, those swing speeds, those ball speeds will change because of you're trying to fix your swing not to hit said areas or walls. So just be aware of that. And for me personally, I know it took a while for me to get comfortable swinging indoors, especially in a space like this. Really just going at it like I would on an outdoor surface is indoors. So just be aware. It may take a little bit of time to get comfortable indoors if you're swinging for the first time, but don't lose hope. The more you do it, the more comfortable you will get, and those distances will match up to what you normally see out on the course.
Right. Yeah, I know. Just like Jordan, I played golf for years before I started here, and I've been here for years, and I can still, if you were to look at two of my sessions, an outdoor session with my driver where I hit 20 shots and 20 shots in here, I don't care what driver I'm using, the average speed will be just a little bit lower in here, and I feel extremely comfortable hitting in here. One of the biggest things that we get is like I just got the most common things we get is I just got this launch monitor and I feel like I'm swinging out of my shoes, and it feels like the distances aren't what I expect, even though it feels clean. Well, number one, you're hitting off of a mat. Sometimes hitting off of a mat it feels better than it actually is, but that's just something you got to get used to. Another really big thing is that if you talk to any golf instructor, it's not about swinging harder.
Yes.
It's you want to be able to be consistent and get consistent contact, because when it comes to distance, how our launch monitors measure distance, we don't care about your club speed. We only care about what the ball does, whether you're indoors or outdoors. how fast that ball's going, at what angle, and what the spin is. That's what's going to determine it through our ballistic model and apply it to your environmental settings, like like if you pick sea level or if you pick your local weather. And you can also turn wind on and off. If you turn wind on and you don't remember that you set a strong headwind and your 5 iron's only going about 100 yards, that's it's the settings. It's about the data's what you get out is what you put into it.
And one final point before we move on to the last question. I think it's so important, that's why people should use face impact location. Again, where you strike it on the club face will directly relate to your overall distance, your shot shape, the curvature, and smash factor. Smash factor all comes down to efficiency. So again, feel versus real. You might be feeling like you're hitting it somewhere on the club face, but if you have face impact location, it's not a guess. It will tell you exactly where you're hitting it.
Right.
And you can fine tune those improvements in your game. Again, like I was saying earlier, I've been trying to move that impact location more toward the toe because I've been heel biased. And we've seen on today that my impact location was more toward the toe. But again, that will have a great impact on my overall efficiency and distance as well. So just be aware of that. And again, everybody can benefit from face impact location. Everybody can.
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely tells you a lot about, and if you take a look at the FlightScope learning platform, we talk about all of those things. We talk about smash factor.
Yes.
There are mentions it's about as much as you want to read, because there's mentions in each of those that can tell you how your shot efficiency reduces based on the loft of the club. That's why smash factors are really high, up to 1.5 for a driver, and the lowest for your most highest lofted wedge. And that goes for the face angle too. So that pro package, the pro package, the face impact, everything that's available for you will tell you the whole story.
Correct.
About the data and how efficient the shot really was. Anyway, so last question: can FS Golf export raw session data? The PC application can. You can export CSVs from there, but Jordan also showed when you're using a mobile platform, all of your sessions that upload, you can CSV export the full table of your shots. And that's a useful tool, again, as long as you select the correct player. Anybody in your family or your friends, everybody that golfs, if you're the only one with the launch monitor, tell everybody that you want to let use it, have them create a MyFlightScope account. It's absolutely free. As long as they use a valid email and they verify their account, you can add them as a player in the session, and they will be able to see their data when they go home. They can, as long as your session uploads from your device, they'll be able to look at their session. You'll be able to look at their session. It's an amazing tool. So
again, a great way to track your trends. A great way if you have an instructor to send off those data. Recent data sessions that you did. That way your coach or instructor can look at those trends. And again, we're a data-driven company. We have all the tools available for you to get to the spot that you want to get to in your golf game. And that's what we're all about at FlightScope. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. If you have any additional questions regarding any data or the FS Golf app, please reach out to our support team or sales team. We're on standby to help answer any question you might have. And when it comes to future webinars, we want to hear from you. What do you want to see from the FlightScope team? Is there specific data that you want to look at, or specific launch monitors, or both? Please let us know in the comments, send us an email, and we will work on that next webinar tailored to what you want to see. So thank you so much for watching, and stay tuned for more webinars coming your way on YouTube.
Thanks.